Hello there. My name is Maureen with my co-host Corey. We are The Real Guys, and this is The Real Show with 2 E's. Today we're going on a grand journey from Valinor to Middle-earth.
Correct.
Aren't we, Corey?
We are indeed.
With Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power. That's right, the first 4 episodes of Amazon Prime, I want to say.
Yep.
Amazon Prime's hit series has hit the internet streaming service waves, so we'll be covering the first 4 episodes.
Exactly. I mean,
Because that's all that's out right now.
that's all it's out, yes, as of time of recording.
As the time of recording, it's all that's out in the minutes.
Yes.
It's supposed to be an 8-episode series. Normally what we do is, Corey,
Yeah,
we like to cover the first episode.
exactly.
We cover the first episode, then we do the rest of the series when it comes out.
Yes.
But because we've been off the air for a little while,
Yep.
About a couple of weeks
Yeah.
time, and during that time we've had more episodes of Rings
Yes.
of Power come out. So now we can cover those episodes
Yes.
as a half-season review, and when the other 4 episodes come out in 4 weeks' time,
Yep.
we can cover those and cap off the series.
Exactly. I mean, Rings of Power is out.
Mm-hmm.
Like I say, 4 episodes. By Friday, there's 5.
Yep.
But again, we're recording this on a Wednesday.
Yeah. Because we couldn't come in on Monday.
No, we could not. So, I mean, where to start?
Where do we start? Well,
so many places to start.
Let's start off with perhaps the very large amount of money
There's a lot of
was
money.
used to make this series. This series is no small feat,
No.
listeners or viewers, if you're watching on our video version on YouTube, or if you're listening on Spotify, Amazon Podcast, iTunes, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you like to listen. We're here for you. You know, they have an Android sort of podcast thing as well.
Really?
I was talking to someone who's the owner of an Android phone recently, and they said they have a podcast sort of application,
Oh.
and they found us on it. So,
See, I've got an Android phone, but I
Do you?
always just use Google Podcasts.
oh, do you?
Yeah.
Oh, apparently Android does have its own
Okay.
actual sort of podcast music applicable application.
We're on now as well.
We're on there as well. We are on there as well. Apparently we are.
There we go.
The very large amount of money used to make the Rings of Power.
Yep.
Estimated with an Amazon expected to at least have spent $1 billion on its production. This is expected to be the most expensive television show in history
Yeah.
ever.
Mm-hmm.
There was a large bidding war with Netflix over the rights to the amendments to the adaptations of the Tolkien
Yes.
mythos and
Yeah.
novels that ended in Amazon acquiring the rights for the cost of $250 million.
Yes. Which
Not just $1 million,
Yeah.
but $250 million.
Yes. Which even with this show, apparently there is still not with Netflix, but there is still rights issues with Amazon and is it Christopher? Is that his son? Is it Christopher Tolkien?
I believe so.
Yeah, because there's a lot of stuff in this where they've used some stuff and they can't use other things. So they've had to scoot around it a little bit.
Yeah, it's a bit like a Sony Spider-Man situation.
Yeah.
But in a rare move for the company's entertainment side with what they're calling Amazon Studios.
Yes.
Now, because apparently Amazon is itself an entity, the corporate,
Yeah, they're trying to do the
buying side,
whole.
and then Amazon Studios, kind of what BBC does now.
Yeah, we're trying to do what the Netflix do and have their own kind of like. This is a Netflix
Studios,
series.
we're going to make our own. We're going to adapt
Yeah.
crappy fan fiction, and we're going to make
This is an
our own
in-house
series.
It's an in-house production.
In-house production. Amazon CEO, founder, and prolific bold man Jeff Bezos, who is one of the principal directive forces
Where's this
involved
going?
in the negotiation for making the deal happen between
Okay.
Warner Brothers, who previously owned
Yes.
the Tolkien rights and properties from the very famous Peter Jackson directed Lord of the Rings series and the Hobbit trilogy as well.
It's there.
The Tolkien estate and Amazon.
Yes.
So Bezos was the man at the marquee, making sure all this came together. They previously mandated the company's TV division, and said that they need to make a production that rivals the fantasy prowess of Game of Thrones.
Yes, especially because House
of Dragon.
Yes, especially House of Targaryen
it is the House Targaryen,
Yeah.
but it's the House of the Dragon.
Yes.
Has
also come out.
Has already come out now on HBO and here in the UK on Sky.
I think it's like 1 episode ahead or something. Is it 5 out
yeah, I
now
think so.
or
They're on
something?
episode 6 now.
Yeah, so it's just ahead.
They're just ahead, yes, but it was a combining war between the 2 biggest fantasy properties probably today.
Yeah,
Lord of the Rings and Game of Thrones.
because you also had Game of Thrones
take
Lord of the Rings record of the biggest battle on biggest battle filmed, I believe.
Yes, I believe so.
even though you couldn't see half of it apparently in Game of Thrones. But
Was that the Battle for Winterfell?
Yes.
And the 7th season? I wanna
yeah,
say?
something like that. And it's like it's
Comparing against probably what happened at the Minas Tirith, the whole...
yeah, it was about like
Or the Ride of the Rohirrim.
or Helm's Deep or
Or
something.
Helm's Deep, yeah.
I
that
can't
tracks.
remember which one it was. But yeah, so I also took that. Obviously, Game of Thrones is currently the essentially fantasy powerhouse.
Yeah, bring it in. It's a big swing for Game of Thrones with House of Dragon. Apparently, House of Dragon, very good.
I've heard good reviews.
Yeah, it adapts a book called Fire and Blood, a prequel book
Yes.
about the same
I
subject
haven't.
matter as House of
I
Dragon.
didn't watch Game of Thrones, so I probably won't nip in. I know Matt Smith's in House. Apparently, he's good. in
Big
House
Matt
of
Smith
Dragon.
fan. Corey is. Big
I am.
Matt Smith fan.
But apparently, he's doing pretty good. I've heard. The thing is, I've
Risa
heard
fans. Do you like Risa fans?
he's pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll come into this as well with Rings of Power. House of Dragon has a good cast.
Yes.
It's a solid cast. We've just discussed this a bit off air. Rings of Power has like no one that we know.
They don't even the credits for Rings of Power in a very bold move, very brave move, have no one in the cast's name. They only show
Yeah.
production credits, which is very rare. Probably because they don't have. I don't want to say. No offense to anyone who's in the cast of Rings of Power, if you're listening.
Yeah.
No offense to anyone that's singing the Rings of Power that you're listening. We couldn't name many people that were in this show, and I think they do that often. They did that with the original Harry Potter. This is a tangent. Stay with me.
Yeah.
They did this in the original Harry Potter.
Okay.
Where the child actors,
Yep.
Daniel Radcliffe, and the other two,
Rupert
Rupert Grint and Hermione, they couldn't. I don't want to say. I feel like you know their names.
Yeah.
What's her name?
Rupert Grint and
The other one,
Daniel
the
Radcliffe.
girl.
The thing is, we're both having a brain fart, and now it's affecting both of us.
Why you don't remember what
Emma
Hermione's
Watson.
name is? Emma Watson. Thank you. I'm sorry, Emma Watson, if you're watching or listening. I
Yeah.
forgot what your name is. Emma Watson, Rupert Grint, and Daniel Radcliffe.
Yeah.
They hired them without any prior acting experience.
Yes.
So that way you learn to grow
Yeah.
with these characters. And with these people, they've picked actors and actresses who aren't that well known,
Yeah.
who many people don't know who they are. So they become that character.
Yes.
And they turn into that character for the viewer.
If it works, is a good move because you have people nowadays, and you have certain actors where you see them, and you think of like a role.
Hey, that's Keith David.
Yeah.
For instance, every time I see Keith David, I go, oh, it's Keith David.
Yeah. There's so many people that you see, and if you're in a completely different film, you would go, that's that guy from that film,
Yeah.
and that's
That's
all
Will
I can
Smith.
see.
He's always playing Will Smith.
It's The Rock.
That's Tom Cruise. He's always playing Tom Cruise. That's The Rock.
Yeah.
He's always The Rock.
Yeah. So if it works, great, because whatever they're in, you're going to think
Maybe
of it.
the biggest name for some weird reason in this show is Lenny Henry.
Yeah, Lenny Henry's here.
Lenny Henry. Hello, Lenny Henry.
Yeah,
How you
he's here.
doing? He's got out of his premiere in bed. He's come down to the. He's come down to the Rings of Power set,
Yeah.
and he's a hobbit.
Yes.
He's a Harefoot.
A Half-foot,
Half-foot. Yeah. There's actually 3 different breeds
Mm-hmm.
of hobbits. If you didn't know.
I did. I googled it when I watched
Yeah.
the show.
There's 3 breeds of hobbit. I knew there were hobbits initially.
Yeah.
I knew there were breeds of hobbit. And I was like, right, okay, the Harefoots are hobbits. That's fine. There's 3 different breeds of hobbits, and the Harefoots are like the nomad breed. They've got hobbit in their blood. You can tell they're going around singing songs and with little flowers in there, dancing around with acorns, going, "Oh, you shouldn't leave the caravan." They're all Irish.
Yeah.
Everyone's got accents. There's a lot of accented performances in this.
They are.
Lenny Henry's going around with an
Yeah.
Irish accent.
To
All
be
the
fair-
orcs going like, "Oi, have you found him? Hey, I'm an orc. All right, where's that guy gone?"
First off, you're doing a very like Cornish farmer accent there.
Don't they sound like Cornish farmers?
Kind of, yeah.
But I thought they were a bit Cockney. Maybe more Cockney than
I
Cornish farmers.
I don't mind. I noticed it and I thought, yeah, that is very Irish.
All right, we're going down to Mordor.
Yeah.
I don't know what's going on here. I'm an orc.
I mean, to be fair, I don't mind. It makes sense, I guess. Cause she's
Sauron. All right, Sauron. Get off my land.
God's sake. I don't mind it. The accents are fine. But yeah,
Yeah.
they do have a very Irishy accent. But to be fair,
The Harfoots do, yeah.
the Harfoot's pretty good. I don't
I like
mind
their
them.
part in it. There's
Yeah.
kind of like a
So this is-
Bilbo stand-in or a
Yeah.
Frodo stand-in
yeah.
who's called Nori.
Yes.
Who's
Which
like
is
our
not
little
to be
protagonist
confused
hobbit.
with Nori, the dwarf from
Oh,
The
right.
Hobbit.
Oh, yeah. Not to be This is like, I said this. Lord of the Rings has so many characters whose same sound similar.
Yeah.
It's so hard to...
Well, I heard Nori and I thought, oh, okay, we're going to go see the dwarves. And I went, wait a minute, no, that's the Hobbit.
Yeah.
It's like a different name.
Nori, Ori, Gory, Dory.
Well, you see, the Hobbit is also, it does that.
Biffa, Boffa, Bofa.
Yeah.
And Gloin, Goin and Groin and...
Groin?
Isn't that what...
There's Dwalin and Barlin.
Dwalin, but yeah,
think
Gloin's
it's-
dad's called.
Maybe.
Gimli's his son.
Yes.
That's my wee lad.
Yeah.
Gimli.
Thanks, Peter Jackson, for putting that in.
Yeah.
Like
little
Legolas.
pictures. Yeah, Legolas.
Needed that. But yeah, the names are... This is something we're going to touch on. You have the Harefoots.
Yeah.
And then it will cut to something else. So everyone kind of has their own sections and their own stories going on.
The main story is with Galadriel.
It's with the elves.
Yes.
Yes. Specifically Galadriel / also Elrond.
Yeah, also Elrond at times.
Yeah.
The opening of this series kicks it right off.
It does.
With big, there was this huge war, and it skips over thousands and thousands of years of...
Yeah.
If you've not read the Silmarillion, you're kind of in the dark.
It does the classic Lord of the Rings thing of here's like a quick synopsis of Sauron and...
Galadriel's brother was...
He's not alive anymore.
Soldier, he's not alive anymore. His mission was to find Sauron. And
he's got a mark on him.
Find Sauron, The Dark Mark, whatever it's called.
Very much.
They need to show that more of that war, that whole war scene with the fell beasts and everything. I was popping.
Very much Peter Jackson inspired.
Yeah,
of like,
very much.
Here's Elrond, I'm not throwing the ring away. I'm getting Sauron's getting his finger cut off, etc., etc., etc. It does, and then it cuts to a little
Sauron
Galadriel.
looked amazing.
Sauron was great.
That look of the big towering guy with the he looked like Lord of the Rings Sauron. I'm like, yes. That's Sauron.
Yes.
And they've shown him since. Is that said to be Sauron in the third episode? Arda, the sort of father of the orcs. Was that meant to be Sauron?
Don't know. Because there's a guy in the also third episode who like is a bit out of focus and turns a corner, goes down like a little tunnel.
I think that's him in the fourth episode, doesn't he?
That's said to be him. There's the guy with...
Because they predict that when the elves are captured in the orc sort of labour camp, they say that Sauron may have many forms and many names.
Yes, because he can. Because he's a
sorcerer.
No. He's a sorcerer.
Yeah, he's a sorcerer.
He is.
He's a dark wizard.
Yeah, but he is... give me a second. What is Gandalf? You'll see when I'm Googling this in a minute.
Gandalf, always...
What is he?
Why do I want to say
What
Magi?
is he? Kind of, yeah.
Magi, they've got a name.
Yeah, they can change...
Their species.
Yes. It's similar to that. He can take on whatever form he wants.
Yeah.
He can change his appearance whenever. So he isn't just a man in massive armour.
Yeah, of course not, no.
He can change. So he could be anything. He could be anyone at this point. Because there's a couple of people
Valar?
here.
Or is that what?
That might be it.
Right.
Sorry,
I'm looking at Morgoth's page.
There's a couple people here who aren't who aren't mentioned ever, and it could be any of them as well.
Because if you don't know, if you don't know people,
yes,
your best friend here when you're watching this series is the one wiki to rule them all.
Yes.
The wiki site for Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
Which has very expansive pages on all the characters they talk about, or perhaps gloss over.
Yes.
Including Morgoth.
Yeah. Yes, including things like that, including the battle, including pretty much everything.
Because Arda is also a word for Middle Earth.
Yeah.
Or it's the word for like the world.
Yes.
Their sort of realm, because we know that the Earth is round.
Yep.
I know the Earth is round, but the Lord of the Rings world is round.
Yes,
and it's called Arda.
Yes.
So if you don't know whether they were talking about the Earth, but it also means father, because they're like Father Earth or whatnot.
Yeah.
Because they don't know whether they were talking about the Earth itself. Because obviously Valinor is to the west, is the far west.
Yes.
And then Middle Earth is the middle continent.
Yep.
And then across the East Sea, there's the Darklands, which is like the sort of easterly area, sort of the south kind of area. And they make a reference to several parts of the Southlands here, which is, I think, their word for Mordor.
Yeah.
Can they not say Mordor? I swear I heard Mordor said in the series, but they can't say Mordor. They keep calling it the Southlands.
Yeah, they do.
And well, that's obviously Mordor is in the south of the continent.
It's one of those things where...
Because you mentioned before we started recording,
yes,
I think probably in this episode as well, that there was a lot of issues with rights of what they can and can't use.
Yeah, there's been issues for ages, but like because I think with Silmarillion they technically can't make a Silmarillion show because they don't have the rights to it, or I think because the Tolkien estate don't want to give anyone the rights. There's certain things that I think they can use and certain things they can't, and it's very much so some things they do have to kind of gloss over or allude to but not say, etc., etc., which is to the fault of, it's not like Star Wars where you've got Lucas who can give
everything.
Yeah. Tolkien passed away, so now it's up in the air to whoever owns it next, and that's always going to create some kind of confusion and whatever. But yeah, you've got Galadriel, you've got her whole story.
Elrond, should we talk about Elrond?
I like Elrond in this.
Played by, do you?
Yes.
Think he holds up to Hugo Weaving? Because he's playing a younger version.
He is.
Not with the experience of the Hugo Weaving version who has...
No, and that's the thing. This is very much a young, kind of happy, somewhat chirpy Elrond-ish, who's like, I'm going to go to the dwarves and smash rocks and go meet my old friend. This isn't Elrond who like saw his friend not throw the ring away and essentially saw the whole cause of this.
Yeah, Isildur hasn't met Elrond yet.
Exactly.
Just to speak on Elrond for a little bit, the person that actually plays Elrond isn't afraid of playing another very young popular character. Yeah, the same actor. I'm going to try not to butcher his name.
Okay.
Robert Aramayo also played the young Eddard Stark, Ned Stark in Game of Thrones.
Oh, okay.
At in the final season, or I think second to last season, season 7.
Yeah.
Played him in a flashback at the fight of the Tower of Joy. So there we go. Very interesting to learn that.
Yep. So we've got the Harfoots. We've got Galadriel.
We've got
Elrond. We've got... Is anyone else have any...
What about Arondir? The elf warrior who must protect this village.
Yes.
He's a guard, an elf guard.
Yes.
Then he finds out that he's being retired by his elf brethren at the tower. They've got to leave.
They're going home.
Then the orcs are coming back.
Yes.
The orcs, they've not seen an orc in thousands of years, but the orcs are building strength in the Southlands, which isn't not Mordor.
No.
The orcs are gathering an army, so the orcs spring on the village and everyone has to leave the village.
Yes.
Or the orcs attack. What do you think of the orcs? Can we talk about just a bit more about orcs? I love orcs.
I think the orcs in this look, because they're all practical effects.
Yeah, of course. They're all people in suits.
So I think they look great. Obviously, there's some design differences because they're not Uruk-hai, so they're not like built. They're not like hench.
Yes.
But I like them design-wise. It makes, because obviously like they're wearing like deer skulls or like some kind of animal
hats,
skull because they have to be out. They can't be in the sun, so they wear it for shade. I don't mind that. That's fine. I think they look good. I kind of want to see a bit more.
I'd love to see a bit more. I really like their antics.
Yeah.
They just seem like really not. I want to say interesting characters.
Yeah.
But I'd like to see more of them.
They're showing a bit more of the brains as well, because there's a part where he tries to escape, and then it's just all the orcs with the bows. We're like,
I want to mention something. When Amazon were putting out casting calls, I'm sure if you heard about this, it hit the news for a bit.
Okay.
When Amazon were putting out casting calls for the Rings of Power, they were casting orc extras, and the casting calls from Auckland, New Zealand, described as looking for actors with wonderful noses and wrinkly faces as a must for orc extras. So effectively, they were looking for unattractive people.
Yeah.
Just looking for ugly fools who can just put on an orc makeup and go, "Oh, I'm an orc. I like to smash stuff." Wah! Which is just it, isn't it?
Yeah. I mean, they got them.
Yeah, they did get them. And a lot of them.
They got orcs. There's a lot of orcs.
There's this the one scene where Theo, the child of the woman, whatever her name is he's hiding in a well. Remember, he's hiding in a well. And the orc's like, "Oh, I got you," but he's under the water. Behind it, if you look at that shot, there's just an orc that's just running for his life behind him. I'm like, where's that guy going? he's just booking it.
Yeah.
Those orcs, they're so fun. I love a good orc.
Yeah.
I remember my favourite bit from the Peter Jackson series of films was where they've got Merry and Pippin, the orcs and the Uruk-hai have Merry and Pippin. And they're like, "Why can't we have some meat?" Do you remember that guy?
Yes.
"Why can't I've got nothing but maggoty bread for 3 stinking days? Why can't we have some meat?" And then the guy goes, "What about their legs? I don't need those." And then the Aura captain or whatever kills him and goes, looks like meat's back on the menu, boys.
Yeah.
Everyone goes, yeah. I still quote that to that day. Whenever we have like steak at restaurant or whatever, I go, meat's back on the menu, boys.
What, in a restaurant?
Yeah.
I can't imagine being sat at a restaurant.
Orcs next
Just like,
to you.
just like eating like a nice meal. Like maybe
nice flat iron.
Yeah, I've got like a pizza or something,
Yeah.
nice pasta, and just I'm sat there and a table across just starts going, meat's back on the menu,
boys. Yeah.
I'll be like, I'm off.
There's 4 orcs at the table.
I'm off.
I don't think they've not got good tableside manner.
No, probably have a fight halfway through.
Yeah.
But no, the orcs are good, and the there's a lot of stuff going on, and
There's a lot of stuff going on. That's like
it is.
cap the series.
Yeah.
Honestly, Lord of the Rings, the Rings of Power, as
Yeah.
I used to say, Power of the Ring.
Power of the Rings.
I always used to say Power of the Ring. There's a lot of stuff going on.
Yes.
That's it.
Yeah.
See you next week.
Yeah. But no, there is, because it just cuts to like here's Galadriel
Here's
and
the dwarves. Here's the
exactly, and here's Elrond.
And it's all beautifully shot, by the
It
way.
looks fantastic.
Yeah, it looks fantastic.
Yes.
Really, it's marvelous to look at.
Yes.
It's all sparkling and beautiful.
Yep.
The big, the castles of Erendil
Yep.
and I was about to say Gilgalad, but that's the name of the elf king.
Yeah.
It's where the elves hang out, not Lothlorien. Linden?
Yeah.
Linden, that's it. Linden, the kingdom of the elves. They haven't shown the Mirkwood elves yet.
No.
They're only showing the other elves.
Yep.
I remember the Mirkwood elves. There's other elves. And the costumes as well, really lavish. People are in long flowing robes and beautiful gowns and dresses.
Yes.
They're all in big flowing cloaks. The dwarves have they've got the sort of the armor faces look like the dwarven beards.
Yeah.
They've got the little stubby helmets going around.
Yeah.
The helmet's like open like that. They've got big axes. Or the dwarves feel like dwarves. The elves feel like elves. The men are just going around in rags. Just going around in dirty clothes like, oh, I can't, I'm a man.
Yeah.
It sucks, honestly. Lord of the Rings, never be a man in
No.
Lord of the Rings. You suck.
No.
You're either siding with the Dark Lord, you're siding with Morgoth in the war, or you're being just thrown around by orcs and elves and dwarves.
Yes.
Never be a man, Lord of the Rings. You suck. Your life sucks.
Pretty much. It's yeah. To be fair, if I was in Lord of the Rings, I think I'd just be a hobbit.
You'd be yeah. To be honest, I'd be a hobbit as well.
Just to stay away
Easy
from
life.
everything.
Yeah, go to the prancing pony.
Yeah.
Get drunk on
Yeah.
mead or whatever. Go back to your house, go back to your hobbit hole, fall asleep. Next
Yeah.
day, do exactly the same
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I'd do. I'd stay
Big
away
feet.
from all of it.
Exactly. Go
Yeah.
for like a paddle in the river.
The only time that doesn't happen is if Gandalf randomly turns up.
Yeah, Gandalf.
If Gandalf turns up,
he's
you
been
know.
labelled a disturber of the peace.
Yeah, something's going down.
Yeah.
All
He's
right,
got
let's get
He's
Gandalf.
got good fireworks though.
He does got great fireworks.
Great fireworks. Hanging out with Bilbo. I feel like it'd be a peaceful. The hobbits just live great peaceful lives.
Yeah, it's
Apart
great.
from that one chapter in Return of the King where the Shire was burned down.
It's fine.
And Grima Wormtongue and Saruman was
Yeah,
like
that's fine.
and there's that level in that Lord of the Rings game where you can go around as Sauron and just bat hobbits around with your mace.
Yeah. But no, there's so much that happens in this series, and it just cuts all the time.
The books do that.
Yeah.
The books do crazy stuff. Just out of nowhere often. I remember reading The Return of the King when I first read Lord of the Rings.
Yep.
And they go to the sort of the sacking of the Shire bit. And I'm like, where did this come from?
Yeah.
This is a bit random, Tolkien. Are you having a bad day? And you think, oh, I'll just have Saruman kill all these hobbits.
Yeah. The other thing when it comes to this series is this isn't.
I'm sad Christopher Lee never got to do that bit. You never got to do this bit where he's burning the Shire down.
I reckon Peter Jackson didn't want to do it because he'd be too scared about Christopher Lee.
Stabbing someone in the back.
Yeah, he'd be too scared about him correcting him. That's not how it would go down. This is how it would work.
That's how it would go down. I'd use my lightsaber and I'd chop off the hobbit's head.
Yeah.
And then I'd force lightning them, and then that's not how you make the noise when you're stabbed.
Yes.
There's more screaming, and usually in German.
Yeah. But it does so much. And to be fair, like you've got like I said before, you've got people who are in this who aren't in the books. Halbrand is a guy that's been made up for this series.
Yeah, well, I was very confused by Halbrand.
He's just a guy that's been made up.
He's found on a shipwreck by Galadriel when Galadriel won't go to Valinor. Galadriel's granted to go to Valinor, which is kind of like heaven.
Yeah.
Galadriel's granted to go to Valinor. She doesn't want to go.
No.
She jumps off the ship and swims back to Middle-earth.
Yep.
And on the way, she gets picked up by shipwreck.
Yes.
And by Halbrand.
Yes.
And I was a bit confused. I was like, is there a person called Halbrand in the lore?
There was not.
I didn't know, and I assumed he maybe was just an OC, as they call him.
Yeah.
But I'm just going to mention this. When I was on the train down here today,
Yep.
there was a chap with like a rucksack,
Okay.
and on the back of the rucksack it was covered in buttons, you know,
Yep.
those sort of claspy buttons.
Yeah, yeah.
And one of them said, "Ask me about my OC." I'm like, "What? Your original character?
Yeah.
Your Orange Cassidy? What am I asking you about? What is your OC?" And I was tempted to ask him about his OC, but then I thought better of it because we were actually at the station and we were getting off the train.
Yes. But yeah, Halbrand is completely new. So what he does, no idea. I'm going to assume he just dies at some point because then he won't appear. That's why no one mentions him, or he doesn't because he's dead.
He stays in Numenor and gets destroyed by the tidal waves.
That's why he's not. No frame of him is found in any other thing after this because he's not alive.
Yeah, nice to see you, Halbrand. You were a great and really influential character.
The thing
you
is,
did really well.
To bring in someone new must mean that we had an idea. I mean, right, we need to tell this story, but none of the characters that are written can be part of this story. We need to make someone new for it. So what is he going to do? Why is he so important? We had to make someone new.
Yeah.
If he does nothing, then what was the point?
And he was given quite a bit of prominence.
There
was times where I initially thought he was actually quite annoying, until there was that scene where they were talking in the prison cells.
Yeah.
And he was helping Galadriel kind of figure out the mystery.
Yeah.
And I was really liking that. I was like, wow, this is quite good dialogue. I'm quite into this.
Yeah, well, this is the thing, because Halbrand is like, oh, my whole family was killed by the orcs. I don't hate elves. They weren't the cause for me running away. But if you want to go after him, fine. But I'm not going to because there's no point or whatever. And everyone's like, oh, he's got this like necklace on. It's got like an emblem on it, and he keeps hiding it away, and he's been very secretive of it. And there's a lot of stuff going about how they want like a true king back, and they're waiting for their king, and the elves have taken over, and no one likes them because Galadriel got pushed off a boat when a giant worm appeared, which was good for her because the worm presumably killed the rest of them.
Yes, I believe the worm did, because there was that scene where you saw the worm come up from the water, hit the sort of shipwreck edge, knock it all off, and eat a man as well. Eat a man and drag him down. Yeah. Do you know the first two episodes of this show was directed by J.R.R. Bayona, who also directed Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom?
Fair enough. And like I say, first two episodes. I'm assuming she did not do the third or fourth.
No, he didn't do the third or fourth episode.
Okay.
He only directed the first two. And I was like, J.R.R. Bayona, I know you're behind this.
Yeah.
No, the next two episodes were directed by Wayne Chi-Yip.
Okay.
Who's directed Doctor Who before?
Is he also doing the fifth and sixth or whatever, or does that someone
no,
else?
he's doing the fifth one.
Okay.
And then a person called Charlotte Brandstrom is directing the next two, and then it's Wayne Chi-Yip again.
Okay. So finish it off.
Yes. The next episode is coming out on September 23rd, which is a couple of days from now. And the series will finish on my birthday on October 14th.
Get yourself a little birthday treat.
Nice.
You're going to get on your birthday.
My birthday's a Friday this year.
You're going to sit down, and for your birthday, you're going to get Tom Bombadil.
Tell you exactly. Tom Bombadil on my birthday. I didn't realise that. Yeah, the 8th episode actually finishes on my birthday, so happy birthday to me. Are you going to get me something for my birthday, Corey?
When it comes around, you've got a little bit. You got about
4 weeks.
You've got about a month.
I didn't realise we've got about 4 weeks to my birthday. Goodness, time's travelling fast, Corey.
Yeah, I know, right?
It's moving faster than we can count it. Goodness. I've realised when you start mapping out your life via the weeks, it seems to go by faster and faster.
Hey, there's only 52 of them.
Yeah, true.
Not a big number to count down from.
True. Now, we've talked a lot about Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
The Rings of Power.
Correct.
But what would you give it, these 4 episodes,
so
as a real rating?
For the first half of the series, I think it was okay. So,
what are your general thoughts now? This is crunch time, Corey.
Yeah. So, I watched the first episode, and I said, oh, this is stunning.
Gets you into it, yeah.
You get into it, and I thought, okay, cool, yeah, I'm fine with the characters. And then I watched the second episode, and I was like, yeah, this is stunning. I got to know the characters, and I was like, I've been 2 hours kind of going somewhere.
That's the big, there's a big criticism that it
And
doesn't
then
really go anywhere.
The third episode, it's stunning.
Stunning. Yeah, stunning.
Still getting to, it's kind of, I feel like it will go somewhere.
Will it continue to be stunning?
I know it, probably, yeah. I'd hope so at the $1 billion it's spent. The thing is, Peter Jackson's Lord of the Rings is all action for a lot of it. Not all the time. You get bits with the hobbits that are funny. There's the council bit with Elrond and Boromir, and there's parts with other like more serious diplomatical parts more serious, like my son is dead, I'm gonna burn him and I'm gonna jump on the fire, and then my son's alive, I'm gonna jump off a cliff now. I love that bit because it's just so over the top. It's great.
John Noble.
This is like there's like no action in this whatsoever. Very rarely is action. There's a part where like the snow troll or the ice troll that gets killed straight away.
Yes,
like, instantly.
The snow troll. They have a cave troll. They have a snow troll.
Yeah, Galadriel instantly just killed it.
Galadriel is like a Terminator in this for some reason.
Yeah.
She was taken out she was arrested on Numenor, and the Chancellor, or whatever it is, brings her out and says, "We're going to send you back to the elves.
Yeah.
You're going to be arrested and taken to the Queen Regent for judgment." So the guards, right, get the chains.
Yep.
About it, and I'm watching this next to my mum. And I said to her, I said, "What? She's going to do some kind of weird karate move here."
Yeah.
They puts the handcuffs on it immediately. Does a spin. Does a flip. Gets all the guards. There's 4 people standing around her. Gets them all together for some reason. Like they all run into each other like a magnet. Just they all go. Dun, 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 and she just throws them into the cell, shuts the door.
Yeah.
I go, see, look at that. She did it. She's like the Terminator. I know in the Peter Jackson version she does. In the Hobbit trilogy, she does actually do some fighting.
Yep.
She uses her magic and blows that orc away, and then she stands up to Sauron and does her sort of whatever you call it. I'm sure it's got a name. The power where she turns into the girl from The Ring and her hair goes all black and she has a sort of glowing eyes. She has that power.
Yeah. It's now when I first saw the bit in the first episode with the ice troll.
Right.
And I thought, okay, it didn't bother me. And then I was looking at other people's reviews, and as one person mentioned, because they mentioned like there's a part in like Lord of the Rings where like Aragorn and all the hobbits are fighting a troll, and it takes like all of them to kill it. And I was like, okay, that makes sense. And then one person mentioned with Aragorn and Viggo Mortensen in particular, whenever he's fighting something, he looks scared.
Yeah.
Galadriel looks like she's just doing like it's an everyday thing. Like it's just normal. Aragorn always looks scared, but he always looks like he has to fight it because that's what he has to do.
Yeah.
Whereas Galadriel's kind of like, I have to fight it, but I'm looking very comfortable doing it.
I'm not denying that Galadriel's a machine. I mean, most elves are.
Yeah.
And I'm not denying that she's always not been, a very sort of cold and distant character. She was in Lord of the Rings.
Yes.
Of course, Kate Blanchett doing a really good job, and I'm also going to credit the actress for Galadriel for looking exactly like a young Kate Blanchett. I saw the resemblance.
That's the other thing some people have said. Not with her, with Elrond, because of how elves age. But it's a different actor. It's going to look different. Suspended.
And elves age thousands of years. Next 2,000 years, you could pop right into Hugo Weaving. It doesn't matter. I'm going to push you for a rating, Corey.
6 out of 10.
Really? I'm going to... That's a bit low.
It's good. No, 6.5. It's good, but it's not great.
0.5.
Yeah.
Right.
It could go massively up.
Okay.
If
this
ending...
This is a suspended rating, by the way.
Well, yeah, because
we're going to wait 4 weeks to my birthday, and we're going to see what's going to happen.
The ending could massively tie it up and be a massive swerve and be great and could fit the 7-hour payoff that they're building up to. But for now...
8-hour payoff.
Yeah. For now... It's good.
I'm going to give it a...
Go on.
Watch me berate you for a 6.5 and give it a 5.
Yeah.
No, I'm going to give it a 7.
Okay.
I'm not going to go too far from your rating. I think it may end up probably going down when we've seen all of it if it doesn't live up to expectations. Because I feel like people sort of putting a weight of expectations on it,
Yeah.
which often happens with a big fantasy series with a massive property like Lord of the Rings.
Yeah.
Probably one of the biggest properties in the world.
Yeah.
You put a lot on it. You put a lot of
Everyone,
expectations of, I want it to be like this, and if not got this, this, and this in it, then it's the worst thing ever. Oh, you've
it's
done this and this. I hate it.
it's the issue of having a trilogy like the original Lord of the Rings, because that's now what you have to live up to.
Which is the standard. And
Yeah. Even though that
go-for.
is it's a great film, but
They're all great
it's a
films.
moment in time. It's a very specific thing that works, and that's why it's great. It's hard to recapture that.
And it lined up at that time when everything came together at that time. And now
But everyone wants them to
the
recapture that.
replication, yeah. It was... I know we compare everything to Star Wars. I'm sorry.
I was
it was
about to
kind of
make a
like the Star
comparison.
Wars
Yeah.
sequels
what I was
/
gonna
prequels
say.
at the time.
Yeah.
Like you try to capture the magic. Everyone tries to capture the magic
Yep.
of the original trilogy,
Yep.
and it's hard to do because of the circumstances of the creation of the original trilogy, which is what sort of the ILM documentary goes into a bit.
And then
But
you have fans similar to Star Wars, where if it's not what they want, it gets slayed.
yes.
Slewed.
But speaking of slewed,
Yes.
I wonder whether Corey's going to do a good slaying of his weekly rec.
So-
it's your weekly rec, Corey.
So I was sat here for a while thinking, what do I recommend? I thought I could recommend the Peter Jackson films. Everyone who wants to go see them
Everyone's
would
gonna
have
do
watched
it.
them.
Yeah.
Because it's a Peter Jackson
If you're
film.
not seeing them, what are you doing?
Exactly.
Watch the special editions.
Yeah, everyone knows what they are. If they want to watch them, they would have watched them by now. I was thinking, okay, what do I recommend? The Hobbit. I don't mind the Hobbit films. Hobbit films are alright. They're a bit of fun. And I was like, okay, I could recommend the weird Russian Lord of the Rings film. That exists.
You mean the weird Russian Lord of the Rings?
There's a Russian one, and then there's like the animated one as well.
Ralph Bakshi, I do know that
Yeah.
one.
And I think the Russian one's on YouTube for like full length. So if you
Okay.
want to look it up, do it. I'm not going to recommend you do it.
Do you know anything about this weird Russian
No.
Lord of the Rings?
No, I know one of my friends watched it, and it was a experience.
Okay. I think
To
maybe
say
we
the
should commit
least.
to watching it, Corey.
It was. I mean, people can if they want to. So I thought, okay, and I thought, there's so many things. So I thought, you know what? I'm gonna take a leaf out of your book, back in the day from James Bond. I think you've done this since.
Right.
But James Bond is the only one I can think of. I'm going to recommend a song.
Okay, go on.
I'm going to recommend a song from The Hobbit. I'm going to recommend one, and then another one because we don't have the first song. I'm going to recommend my actual rec is The Last Goodbye, which
Right.
is sung by Billy Boyd,
Yep.
who is
Pippin.
Pippin. It's from The Hobbit. Great song, and it's fantastic.
Wait,
but
Mary is Daniel. Oh God, he's
Yeah.
from Lost.
I literally googled his name this morning.
They've got a podcast. They've got a podcast, Corey.
Yes, they have. It's called A Friendship Onion.
Yeah,
I
Friendship Onion.
googled his name because it was the only one that I couldn't remember out of Lord of the Rings, and I've still
I
forgotten
know
it.
he's in Lost. I know whose character is in
I've
Lost.
still forgotten it now.
But his character's name in Lost won't suffice.
Um,
Daniel Monaghan. I've just remembered it.
but it's sung by Billy Boyd, and it's great because it's a very nice kind of goodbye to all the characters.
It's the wigs.
Yeah.
Have you ever seen that video?
Will you wear wigs?
Will you wear wigs?
Yeah.
Have you worn wigs? Do you wear wigs?
Yeah, it is.
Have you worn wigs?
Yes.
Will you wear wigs?
Do you know that confused me for ages? Because if
Why?
you watch it on YouTube, anything, it just cuts to them two. So
Yeah,
I
you
thought,
don't know that he can't
he's
see
staring at him. But when I saw it, and I thought, oh, we can't see him.
Yeah.
That's why he doesn't get it.
Have
Yeah.
you worn? No, it's did you wear wigs?
Yeah.
Have you worn wigs? Will you wear wigs?
Yes.
And then it eventually, maybe that should be the rec.
Yeah. And
Add that as additional rec. Watch that. What's that video actually called?
just type in will you wear Billy Boy, will you wear wigs? You'll find it.
No, it's Dan Monahan actually.
Oh, okay.
But
Because then he
talking
goes.
to Elijah Wood.
'Cause then
yeah,
he's
will
like-
you wear wigs? Yeah.
Because then he's like, you were in a movie with a dolphin. It's
It
like,
died.
Yes, it's dead.
It did.
Yes. Oh, I didn't know that. It's like, it's so funny.
The full video is 9 minutes.
There you go.
Of Dan Monahan just messing with Elijah Wood
Yes.
because Elijah Wood is doing an interview where he can't see.
No, we can't.
He's looking at a camera. Dan Monahan, he can hear this voice.
Yes.
And Dan Monahan is putting on this fake German accent, pretending to be this German interviewer, and asking him all kinds of strange, weird questions,
So
including the famous one, which is, "Did you wear wigs? Have you worn wigs? Will you wear wigs?"
So go search that out if you
Yeah.
want to. My actual rec is The Last Goodbye.
Yes, that's goodbye. What would you rate
Billy
it by
Boyd.
Billy Boyd?
8.5.
Wow, nice and strong.
I'm not going to give a real rating for Review Your Lyrics, because we'll get a 10 out of 10 and we'll have to review it for an episode.
We'll have a full 15-minute episode on this
On a
9-minute interview. Yeah.
But for all the radio, and I guess people on YouTube as well, but specifically for the radio listeners, I'm also not going to give a rating, but I'm going to recommend I See Fire from The Hobbit, because we have that song. I'm going to play it.
All right, we'll play it now then. So we hope you enjoyed our review of Lord of the Rings. I'm about to say Power of the Ring there.
Yep.
The Rings of Power. We're coming at you next week with another streaming service series.
Yes.
Which is, I'm very excited.
You are.
It's Star Wars Andor. It's just come out today as we're recording this on September 23rd, on September 21st.
Yep.
The first 3 episodes are out. We're going to review the first one. Maybe we'll do all. Depends how many. We might do all 3. Maybe we'll do. Depends how much time we've got.
Yeah.
We might do the first one if not. But we're very excited to bring that to you next week. Looking forward to it. Corey, are you ready?
I am ready.
Excellent. So we hope you enjoyed this review of Lord of the Rings, The Rings of Power.
Correct.
And we will see you all next week. It's goodbye from me, goodbye, and a goodbye from Corey.
Goodbye.